Season 8 gave us a lot of endings that felt like they skipped 10 steps. Daenerys burns King's Landing. Bran becomes king. Cersei dies almost quietly. But one of the strangest ones is Jon killing Daenerys, because Jon should not be able to do this. Daenerys is not just his lover, she is his queen.
You are my queen.
He bent the knee. He pledged himself to her.
And I've already pledged myself to Queen Daenerys of House Targaryen.
For Jon, this is everything. His identity is built around honor, keeping his word, and Ned Stark lessons.
I am true to my word. Or I try to be.
And then, after one conversation with Tyrion, he walks in and kills her. And see how he does that. He sneaks up on Daenerys, hugs her, and stabs her like a traitor. Don't you think it's a Ramsay Bolton-style move, and not Jon? But here is the interesting part. We know that George Martin gave D&D the major endpoints. He said it himself. Jon killing Daenerys is as major as it gets. So there is a good chance this part came from Martin. Is there a contradiction? Actually not. But Martin is not the kind of writer who solves a story by forcing a character to do something just because the plot needs it. This is the exact piece of the puzzle that proves D&D didn't just rush the plot. They checked the box and they got their endpoint. But they fundamentally misunderstood how George Martin's universe actually works. Jon in the books could actually do this. And more than that, it could make perfect sense. But D&D missed some crucial things in Jon's story. And although the books are not finished yet, we already can guess what actually happened to him. Jon did not just become evil. What happened to him may be much darker. The first thing showrunners made completely wrong is this. When Jon is resurrected by Melisandre in the show, nothing actually happens. I mean, we just get the same Jon back. He hangs the mutineers and goes on with his own business. His personality is the same honorable, humble Jon who tries to do what is right. In the books, that is completely different. Or should I say, would be completely different, since by the end of the 5th book, Jon is already dead, but not yet brought back. He will be back, of course. That's not the part that is wrong. What is wrong is what we actually get when it happens. In the books, George clearly established that magical resurrection is not a restart button. It comes with a massive, permanent cost. We actually have 2 characters that have experienced resurrection by the Red God, and they tell us enough about what happens after that. The first one we know is Beric Dondarrion. He was resurrected several times, and every time he was losing a part of his soul and his memories.
Every time I come back, I'm a bit less. Pieces of you get chipped away.
I held a castle on the marches once, and there was a woman I was pledged to marry, but I could not find that castle today, nor tell you the color of that woman's hair. Who knighted me, old friend? What were my favorite foods? It all fades. The other one is Lady Stoneheart, who is Catelyn Stark. In the show, she is dead completely, but in the books, she was found and brought back to life by Beric. She had been dead for 3 days, so she looked horrifying. If Beric shows resurrection slowly wearing a person down, Lady Stoneheart shows what happens when someone comes back with almost nothing left except pain and revenge. Brienne meets her as a ruthless and cold leader of the Brotherhood. Can you imagine Catelyn, a perfect mother archetype, as a cruel leader of bandits? Why did she become like that? Resurrection seems to bring people back narrower, more fixed on whatever was leading them when they died. Beric was sent out by Ned Stark to protect the small folk in Riverlands and bring the king's justice to Gregor Clegane. It became Beric's entire mission and goal. He kept fighting Mountain's forces over and over, dying repeatedly, but never stopping. Catelyn died at the exact moment her world collapsed. She watched Robb murdered in front of her, believing all of her children were dead. So her mission becomes revenge. She takes over the Brotherhood without banners and starts a merciless campaign of extermination against the Freys, Lannisters, Boltons, and their allies, even those who have nothing to do with the Red Wedding. She even wanted to hang Brienne for helping Jaime. And now imagine what would happen with Jon. Just before he died, he was eager to protect Winterfell and to save wildlings from Hardhome. So he would be obsessed with that, and certainly revenge too. A lot of the soft, noble, Honorable stuff may be weakened, but that is not all. Jon is a skin changer like all Starks. Skin changers can enter the minds of their animals and live in the animal's body. If you are interested in how skin changing works, I explain it very thoroughly in my video about Daenerys. I'll put a link in the description. Long story short, when a skin changer dies, his mind and soul can escape into his animal. That happened to Orell. When he was killed by Jon, his soul escaped to his eagle. Jon has a bond with his wolf, Ghost. When Jon is assassinated, his consciousness slips into Ghost. We have hints in the books that it's exactly what would happen. Ghost's name is the last word Jon says before assassination. Melisandre, who saw fragments of Jon's future in her visions, tells him to keep Ghost closer. So before Jon is brought back, he would live for some time as a wolf. And it's not just a temporary storage. Bran Stark was warned that if he spends too much time as a wolf, he becomes more of a wolf and less of a human.
Stay too long where you don't belong, and you will never return.
Why do I want to return?
Bran could do that at will, but Jon has simply no choice. And inside Ghost, Jon won't be thinking about vows, political honor, or Ned Stark's lessons. He will be experiencing the raw instincts of a dire wolf, survival, and pack protection. So when Melisandre finally brings his body back, the Jon Snow that wakes up won't be the soft, honorable boy we know. He will be something else entirely, and some part of Ghost will come back with him. And this, Jon could kill Daenerys. When she arrives and tries to claim all 7 kingdoms, she may become a threat to the north. Daenerys actually had a prophecy that she would be betrayed 3 times, and the 3rd would be for love. Can the new Jon love her? I think he could. Why not? Nothing tells that a resurrected person cannot love. There is one more prophecy that can be related to that. The Azor Ahai prophecy says that he would have to kill his wife with his sword to be able to fight darkness. And the book gives us a hint that Jon can be the one. Melisandre sees him many times in her visions, yet now she could not even seem to find her king. I pray for a glimpse of Azor Ahai, and the Lord of Light shows me only snow. Would the new Jon be able to do that? To sacrifice his woman to be able to protect the realm? I'm sure he could. Prophecies in Martin are vague, so they may or may not prove anything, but they do show that betrayal, love, and sacrifice are already circling Jon and Daenerys' story. But there is one more theory that can make Jon's story even grimmer. Do you remember the line, "Only death can pay for life"? We hear it many times.
The red god takes what is his, lovely girl. And only death may pay for life.
Only death pays for life.
That is how fire magic usually works. It requires a sacrifice. When you bring someone from the dead, you must probably give something in return. And that's where it becomes interesting. When Thoros was bringing Beric back, he obviously did not sacrifice anyone. Beric was resurrected right away. His soul was still there. His body was almost intact, but he still paid for it. Every time Beric came back, he left a piece of his humanity, his memories, and his spirit behind in the underworld. Catelyn was another story. She had been dead for 3 days. Her soul was entirely gone. Her body was rotting, and Thoros refused to try resurrecting her because he knew it was too late. There wasn't enough Catelyn left to pay the bill. So Beric stepped in. He sacrificed himself. He died permanently so Catelyn could wake up. Now think about Jon. Would he be resurrected right away like Beric? Jon is murdered in front of Castle Black. Wildlings, brothers of the Watch, Queen Selyse's people, mutineers, everyone is there. After the Lord Commander's assassination, Castle Black would explode into chaos. So Melisandre probably doesn't just walk in 5 minutes later and calmly resurrect him. Jon's body may be hidden in the ice cells, and his mind may spend days inside Ghost, so Melisandre would likely have to use something powerful to bring him back. And there is a theory that the sacrifice could be Shireen. Her burning is likely still coming in the books. We don't know what happened to Stannis. Maybe he is alive, maybe he isn't. But Melisandre already has visions pointing toward Jon, and she may realize Stannis is not the one. So burning the king's blood to resurrect the real Azor Ahai is something she could definitely do. So Jon would be half wolf, half man, brought back by a bloody ritual of the Red God. That would be much more interesting than what the show gave us, don't you think? Of course, that's just assumptions. But what is definitely clear from the books, Jon will not be the same after he comes back, and we can only guess what the new Jon will be capable of. The show gave us Jon killing Daenerys without the man who could do it. The books may give us that man, and he may be much scarier than the Jon Snow we remember. Tell me in the comments what you think, and don't forget to like and subscribe.